dímelo. This is La Jama TV podcast. I'm one of your hosts, SoFla, and I got the chicken tender champion with me, Chef Frankie from La Jama TV. Baby.
What's up, y'all? And today, our legendary guest, and I say legendary because this is not just a regular Miami dude. This is a guy who's been around everything in Miami for the last, I don't know, 25, 35, 45, 50, 60, 75
I think
years.
it's like 50 years, actually.
Carlos Gazitua, owner of Sergio's, the legendary Miami spot. You cannot say legendary in Miami without mentioning Sergio's in the same sentence. And we got Carlos with us today.
Welcome, Carlos, to the show.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Did you see that introduction?
That was legendary introduction.
I mean, we should actually cut that out for you, and like you should have that like when you wake up in the morning. So that's how you get out of bed.
You're a legend in my eye. I'm not even lying. I've been going to Sergio since I was a baby when I was a delinquente in the street. And at 3 in the morning, I wondered where I was, and I needed to get home. Eventually, I would go to Sergio's at 2 or 3 in the morning, get me a pan con mité, get me some vaca frita.
That's right. Yeah, we used to be open 24 hours. So
that's so.
No, he was right.
Yeah,
right.
Open 24 hours. And when did that stop?
When I kind of came in, like later I realized that we weren't making any money doing this, and we had people like playing with knives, like everyone
At the table.
being drunk at the table.
Sorry.
And then my servers were all freaking out, and then I was like, why are we staying up till 24 hours? Eventually, but the model changes, right? Because in the restaurant business and in anything, the city grows, things happen. Before, in the beginning, it was us and like Denny's and IHOP were the ones that were open like, the 80s, 24/7.
Yeah.
And that was a spot that we could, attract new guests into our business. Obviously, that changes once food trucks comes in and a whole new technology in 2000s.
Sure.
People, McDonald's started going 24/7.
Yeah.
And because of the drive-through, and everyone starts focusing on drive-through. So, things change throughout the industry, and you got to adapt to it.
Yeah, for sure. So we were just at your 50th celebration, Sergio's 50-year celebration. You were talking about how in the 80s it was a certain way, but man, we just celebrated 50 years. Tell us about that ride. How do you even make it to 50 years? Yeah. How does anybody make it to 50 years doing anything?
It's tough. I would say we're blessed in that we have 3 generations. I'm the 3rd generation of running the business. So the sweat and tears, like everyone had to put their imprint. My grandmother had to put her imprint of consistency and quality in kitchen. My mom had to put her imprint as also a founder to kind of like take it to the next level with my grandmother's work, but really focusing on culinary, what dishes apply to our industry. And then I came in about 2007 and did my imprint. So it's not by accident, it's tough, but a lot of people think they could just do it on their own. And I will tell you, you need a team. And for us, it was family. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
It was that family that really bond that took us to 50 years and hopefully more.
So 50 years ago, it was, pan con vité, it was croquetas, stuff like that. Nowadays, the menus changed. You got like La Flaca, you got little robots, servers going around. And then, on every show, we have our guests, bring and highlight some of their food. I was kind of hoping today you're going to bring some croquetas, some pan con vité, maybe an Elena Roux like we had the other day. But instead, it seems like you brought us some really healthy food. What the hell's going on, Carlos?
Well, we you had enough pan con vités and croquetas. I mean, we sold over 25 million croquetas sold at our restaurant. So we do sell a lot of croquetas since we started, and those are classics and they stay on the menu, and it is what it is, right? We saw the pan con vité, the fritas. I wanted to bring in a couple options of something new that we're doing, and then tell you a little bit about how we've adapted and what I've done in order for people to see some options that maybe you don't see all the time, right? So that gets highlighted.
This looks like fit, like we're like fit Cuban food.
Yeah, like protein, right? Like if si te está poniendo fuerte, if you're in the gym, all the Cubans in the gym.
Yeah,
right?
so
I mean,
two separate options here. So what do you guys want to start off with first? Like what we have culinary wise? So,
let's go.
So culinary wise, we have Cuban nachos. So this is
nachos.
Oh man, those look amazing. Those are like little mariquitas there on the side.
They're little mariquitas that turns into a scoop. So nachos are generally tortilla chips, right? So this ones are Cuban nachos that we cut up so they come like a scoop. It's easy to do. Under we have a cheddar cheese sauce with bacon, little bit of beer, like almost like a cheers beer sauce.
Yeah, beer cheese.
On the bottom. Then we put plantains, and then we get a lechon, and we make our own tamarind barbecue sauce. So we put that with the lechon.
Wow.
That's cooked 4 hours, and then we throw it in there. And then on top, we just have like what you see in general nachos, right? A little bit of guacamole, sour cream, pico de gallo, but it's a very balanced nacho dish, which we have as a new starter appetizer at the restaurants.
And it's good carbs, right?
Yeah, well,
plantains.
Yeah, plantains. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good carbs.
Good carbs. But it's fun.
It's a Cuban take on nachos.
Correct.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's good, with beer, with wine. You're hanging out with the friends at our restaurants, with the family. It's a good dish to bite into, right? And then, one thing is that we're known as Cuban roots, American made, right? Kind of like my hat, I think Cuban roots.
Yep.
Cuban roots. I thought that was a different hat when you first got here earlier. I wasn't sure what kind of hat that was, but then I read it and I'm like, okay, we good.
No one has a domination on the color red. So but we've been doing it since 1975. So the thing with us is that we started as a sandwich shop. So we wanted to make sure we always have sandwiches on. And every time we're always trying to figure out how do we upgrade the sandwiches and better. One of the things was burgers. So we have a really good burger. And right now it's a bacon avocado burger, delicious, fire. But we also have a mushroom cream truffle burger, which is what we see here with the brioche bun. We make our own a sauce. We put it on top with a little bit of Swiss cheese, delicious, with fries, just showing you a little bit of comfort food that we do.
Yeah. I have a burger on the menu.
Yeah, and we have a couple, but this is just another way to up the game and differentiate so that when people look at culinary-wise, they're like, hey, they got a regular burger and they got also this little culinary burger.
Yeah, everybody loves truffles.
Yeah, truffle. And again, it's a great base, and that's kind of what we have for there.
The one I've been eyeing is this one over here. I'm not sure if that was a piece of I don't know if that was a chuleta or un pedacito de pollo that was underneath the huevo frito there.
Yeah, so listen, people tell me all the time, like, how do you eat at your restaurants? I think that's a lot of I'm sure you ask that question to a lot of restaurateurs, a lot of chefs out there, how they're eating. Me personally, I've been on a journey. One thing that I done for our restaurants was bringing the La Flaca menu, which was all about low carbs, balanced carbs with calorie count, right? That was when we started in 2008 when I brought it in. With La Flaca, with the character, and that blew up, and that showed that you can eat Cuban food in lighter fashion, that people can come. One thing I did in my journey in the last year was really focusing on more protein and having some really good carbs with it or good fat. Yeah. So it's very hard to go to restaurants and get 60, 70 grams of protein with a good fat or good like fruit or
for the price point.
For the price point.
Yeah, of course.
So these are just examples of how I eat, right? Yeah. Like if I eat this during the day, having fun, entertain myself with Sergio's, but at nighttime when I go home, I wanted to show you how I eat, and how I eat is like this.
So we have here is that a chuleta?
Yeah, so I get Homestead avocados. I got a pork chop,
nice,
right? And I put 2 eggs on it, right? And that will be a meal for me at home. That's how I eat to stay fit, because I'm eating, through the restaurants constantly.
This is eating clean right here.
Eating clean.
You eat it like that to stay fit, and I eat it like that to stay fat. So I don't know which one it is, but you can eat it anytime, which is the
well.
And then over here we have like a different one, which obviously this was the pollo one, but this one has like some mushrooms, has a little like fruit cup. Is that a fruit cup on the side?
Yeah. So we got a pollo a la plancha, with two eggs. Again, adding that protein, some mushrooms, some avocado, and then on the side we have cottage cheese with a little bit of blueberries and strawberries, and then I put a little bit of agave honey on top. And you can find that at our menus anytime at the restaurant. So let's just say you're going out with a family, and you have a certain diet restriction that you want to eat. We're on the menu all the time.
Yeah. So it's available all the time on the menu.
All the time on the menu. It's available. Very few restaurants I can count maybe that I don't even know of a restaurant that I can go and get 60, 70 grams of protein, spend $15, $16, and eat that. Most restaurants is protein costs the money. They give you a bunch of the carbs. But we're a generational restaurant, so it's a little different, right? We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're about traffic. We're about volume, but we're also about like feeding different lifestyles of how people eat in their journey.
I love that about you. Like since the day we met and we started, we've always ate at your restaurant, but then we met you and we really fell in love with the operation. And one thing that we've always respected about you is that your willingness to evolve.
Yeah.
Right? And find what the people are looking for, what they're asking for, and your willingness to just try new things. And I think that ultimately that's probably, the secret to 50 years right there is being able to evolve, right, Frank?
You have other direct competitors. I won't mention the names, right, to keep it respectful. But it seems like the older generation of your style of restaurants are falling off one by one, little by little as we go. And by my observation, and I know people are going to argue, that's why I didn't even say like the name of the restaurants I'm talking about. But they just don't compete right now. You know what I mean? Like Sergio's is always evolving, always hitting those marks and keeping up with the times, which I think is more important than anything. Because I think the reason they're not the older guys, the reasons your counterparts and your direct competition over the years has stayed behind you is because of your innovation.
Right.
Right? They said, no, we're going to keep it traditional. We're not going to move. We're going to keep it like this no matter what happens. Pandemic. Listen, I know I made giant major moves, whether they were good or bad. I made major strides in every direction. And I know that you guys did too. And it just shows that innovation, that level of like, no matter what, getting that job done, right? And just changing with the times, man. The only thing constant in the world is change.
Yeah.
And some people forget that and they stay in the dust. You know?
And I got to give credit to my mom.
Oh, that was
very
insightful.
That was very insightful.
Thank you.
Super insightful. I like this.
I know I look stupid,
We
but
haven't
I'm
even started
intelligent.
eating yet, and this guy's dropping gems, baby. I love it. Yo, can I start with the Cuban nachos? I'm gonna go for the healthiest thing that I see here.
One thing is SoFla will always go for the nachos. He'll always go for the nachos in any situation. If there's nachos
true.
on the table, he goes first, you know?
That's one.
I was Mexican in my past life, so I think that's why I always go for the nachos.
I think I gotta. What are you gonna eat?
I don't know. Whatever you guys want, I'll take it. But obviously, some things are easy to share and other things are not.
So you know what I'll do is I'll cut the burger in half.
Yeah, I think that'll be money.
Yeah,
Right for the burger, I see.
I'll cut the burger. You know I'm a burger guy. I gotta go for the burger real quick. You know I've actually never had a burger at Sergio's.
Yeah, we just did like a whole thing with Burger Beast because he has a whole club that they goes around and he surprises people and says, "Hey, where can we go and try?" And we just did an event for him recently, and people they fell in love with the burger.
It smells good. You can't go wrong with that truffle. I'm gonna put this one in the middle real quick.
Bro, those nachos are off the chain. The cheese sauce with the bacon underneath it is like a little surprise underneath the crunch. Normally you would think the cheese is on top, but since it's underneath, it adds like a little surprise. The tamarind barbecue sauce is dope, right? It's not too much tamarind. I was kind of worried about that when you said that because tamarind's a very pronounced kind of flavor, but man, it's spot on. The pulled pork is, nice, soft. It's great, man. I think it's a great take on nachos, man. Good stuff. Cuban nachos, I love it.
I'm gonna take a bite of the burger. And one thing I noticed it's coming back, and it was gone for a while, but nobody was doing the 7 ounce, right? Like the 7 ounce burger?
I think it's even bigger.
7 or 8 ounce burger. No, like a lot of people stopped doing it. You know, the pandemic, like I said, it affected a lot of people. It affected prices like insanely, and people started doing the smash burgers. But now, stuff is kind of calming down. So this has like a truffle, like there's chunks of truffle in here.
Wow.
This is not just truffle oil, which I bitch about sometimes because I don't know, it doesn't go away until like the next day.
Right.
But when you eat like the I don't even know how to call this, but I've seen the product before.
It's like a truffle cream.
Yeah, like a truffle crema.
Make
exactly.
it like a crema.
How's that burger, Frank?
Wow.
Which helps, in terms of one thing we do is really good on deliveries and stuff like that.
Super good. And moist. It's not like overcooked. Like it's a good medium well. Brioche bun. Swiss cheese. Cuts it. Super good. Super presentable. It looks great. Tastes great. I didn't know Sergio does burgers like that.
I didn't even care for the burger till you described it right now. Because now
It's fire, bro.
Yo, and you said that the aguacates were from Homestead.
Yeah, we get Homestead avocado.
Man, these aguacates are perfectly ripe.
But
perfect.
Not everyone. I think avocados, except for our market, most people think avocados like the Hass avocados, California, right? Or Mexico. But we serve, Homestead, Florida avocados.
I follow a dude now on Instagram. Man, I wish I remembered his name. I just started following him, but he grows exotic avocados and then sells them. So I went on his site and looked, and man, he has like, I had no idea that there was so many different types of aguacates out there. I wish I remembered this guy's name, but one of them he was showing the other day was like a melon-sized aguacate, and he was like, out of all his aguacates, this was the sweet one, and it was pretty dope. I went on his website and stuff. It was like, I don't know, like $60-$70 for like a small box sent to you, but it's pretty cool to see people growing, you know, different types of stuff. I want, you know, speaking of growing, right? Like I wanted to talk about how you guys grew your business and how many locations you guys got, and because it's really cool, right? Because when I think of Sergio's, I always think of the one on Bird Road. I don't know why. That's just the one that I think of. I grew up around there, but sometimes I'm surprised. I'll go into the airport and there's a freaking Sergio's in there in the airport. I'm buying the croquetas there. So let's talk about that. How did this business scale from where it started to where it is now?
Well, I mean, I think when I came in 2007, we had like about 2 stores, right? We had grown up. It didn't work. We had a license. We did some stuff that didn't have the consistency. It was stuff for my mom was heartbroken because it didn't work the way we wanted it to work. You grow, and sometimes you got to prune the tree because the la raíces are not strong enough.
Yeah.
Right.
I came in and, going to business school, law degree, MBA degree, I came in and had a different eye on how to grow the business. And I had a choice back then. We either close or we sell, or do we continue the legacy? And, I had my own journey to figure out what it was. I wanted to make sure that all these years of business, that it wouldn't fail, which is what happens a lot of times in the restaurant industry, right? A lot of times, the third generation or second generation, they say,
yeah, they'll tank it.
I don't want to be in the restaurant.
Right.
I want to be in tech, or I want to be I want to be a lawyer, or I want to, whatever the reason is, right? I want to be in marketing. So restaurateurs know how difficult it is to run restaurants, right? Yeah. So when I came in, I wanted to make sure we had consistency and that we can provide that. So, I came in, we opened up I created our own USD facility that can have the consistency, because I don't want to be in the kitchen all day. I wanted to talk about growth. I wanted to figure out what we can do. And by doing that, we have our own chefs, our own kitchen staff that me and my mom would create the options, but then we would provide them opportunity to have the consistency and cut the steaks, cut the chickens, do the seasonings, all from our USD facility. And
so you guys basically have your own commissary kitchen that cuts all your steaks, all your products, and then that goes to all the locations?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's not like a commissary kitchen like the people are thinking. I'm sure it's tremendous. It's a Walmart, right? It's a warehouse.
I mean, we're getting bigger, and it continues to evolve and get better. But that was our investment that will lose a lot of money every year, because when I did it, if you told me, hey, let's open a business, and you only got two stores or 2 clients that you can sell to, you're not going to make money.
Right.
I can tell you, don't do it, because you're not going to make money. But our vision was, we're going to invest, we're going to hold, and we're going to grow this business. And now we are opening up in Pinecrest in November. We'll be opening in Pinecrest.
Awesome.
Basically 30, 45 days from now. And that will be our 7th store. Our rooftop restaurant will be our 8th store. But through the growth, going back to what you're saying, we've been able to grow by selling to airports. We have airport locations. We have universities. We have all these, what I call non-traditional locations.
The Sergio's to go, right?
Yeah, like Sergio's Express type vibe, right?
Sergio's Go, that is different from our restaurants.
Yeah.
So by doing that now, I have up to 38 clients in my portfolio.
Right.
And before, it was 2.
So then 7 or 8 are yours, belong to the family, and then how many total locations? So the rest would be either satellite locations or franchises, yeah?
Satellite locations, like franchises, like in universities and airports or arenas that maybe they already are running. But then we also have clients that we have through our Proudly Serving program that will sell to Eden Rock.
Yeah.
We'll sell to big hotel chains. Like we start off now, we're starting in Ocean Reef this month. So different potential resorts and facilities that we can become one of their vendors.
And question, bro. So one thing that I always like see about you that distinguishes you from a lot of other restaurant owners, restaurateurs, you know, even people with multiple locations, and even people that I know in the big corporate restaurants and stuff like that. Whenever I've been downtown at a Miami-Dade or City of Miami meeting for whatever it may be, Carlos is always there. Right, like when you do a grand opening of something, the politicians like show up, you know. So one thing I noticed is that you're very much into the political world, and like how much do you think that has helped you like move forward in the industry, like being so political, at least politically influential in the city, you know?
And I don't even know if it's political. The right word might be like just community orientated. You know what I'm saying?
Like you definitely correct me,
because
right? Like,
it's not like it's just like he's on one, like he works for one person or whatever. It's like it seems like everybody loves Sergio's, right?
Yes.
Like no matter where on the spectrum. You think that's helped you?
I think so. I think
Gotten you into more rooms, helped your product be known to more people.
I don't do it for that. I do it to make sure that to help the community and to be involved. Most people don't know operations or what it takes to be in the restaurant industry. I was a president of the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association for Dade County. I
was the 1989 Dade County Spelling Bee champion. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in there. Well, because he was saying his accolades. So carry on. I'm sorry.
that's not an accolade. So I just want you to know. In case you guys were wondering, not an accolade.
The reason why I say that is because I deal with a lot of issues with restaurants and hotels. Sometimes it's ordinances. Sometimes the county is doing votes that might affect restaurants and hotels.
Yeah.
Not everyone has a voice. By the way, most small businesses don't have a voice, right? Because we're not a huge lobbying firm that we have. So me being involved in all those places that you see is to make sure that if anything is affecting the restaurant industry, that I'm there to do it. And the reason why is there's not a lot of people who are lawyers who can run a business,
right?
Who also know business. And I can tell you there's some, and actually plenty, that kind of have that accolades, but their company won't let them because they're scared of any kickback, any pushback to their brand, because they're saying, oh, we can't, tell the commissioner that. We can't tell the mayor that. We can't tell the senator that because, for whatever reason, we can't tell the news that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm not restricted to tell you the truth,
right?
Because I'm looking out for everyone because it impacts everyone, and I'm there to be nice, but also I'm there to tell you the truth, how this can impact the industry. Whether they choose to decide what they're going to do, it's something different, but at least we should say our voices.
I was downtown right across the street from the university, the Miami-Dade downtown campus or whatever. I don't know the exact name, but when I saw you there, it was like some of the restaurants like Are Better, right? And just some other guys there was a couple of big guys, but there was also a lot of smaller businesses there. And I feel like they were very quiet, and the conversations afterward, like everybody was glad that you were there, because Carlos, for whatever reason, had the cojones that day to get up on the stage, really talk about those issues that I think, like everybody was like, yeah, thank God Carlos is here because I know he's gonna get to the issue and he's not scared to stand up, right? Because I think the normal restaurant owner, normal business owner, like, man, even myself, right? Like, I could go build you the restaurant for cheaper than you thought you could do it. I could train your staff. I can do the operations, man. When I have an issue with derm, like, I'm weak, right? Like, my arms fall off, my legs fall off, and I have to, like, I don't know. There's no way for me to actually get it done. At least I'm not confident enough. Well, there's someone you pushing. I think it gives the little guys, like, okay, Carlos got our back. He's gonna come with it.
Sometimes there's like legal nuances, right, that you have to know, and the sophisticated person or even doesn't know it. So you have to be involved. One thing that I was worried when I was young was I went to law school, got my MBA. I was running restaurants, and I felt like I became a jack of all trades and a master of none, right? I really did. That was one of the fears I had. I was like, man, I'm just becoming so so stretched and knowledgeable in all these different areas, but should I be focusing or concentrating on one thing because maybe I'm going to miss out on the deeper issues?
Yeah.
But in fact, it's actually helped me because I've been able to know so much that, you know, the final details I can get with someone who's an expert, but I get to the point where I can get to 80%
Right.
of the rule, so that way the final details can be resolved with a final expert. But as a restaurateur, you know, you're dealing with legal, you're dealing with contracts, you're dealing with food, you're dealing with vendor relationships, you're dealing with sales, marketing, logistics. So there's a lot of things that you're dealing with a restaurant. It's almost like you got to have 20 hats, and you just got to pick one at every 30 minutes.
I'd like to point out that I worked on a project with Carlos. It was called Croqueta Nation. It's a documentary about the world's longest croqueta. And there was all sorts of problems that arose on getting certain interviews and getting certain things done. And I always said after we were done completing the movie that Carlos got like a croqueta mafioso Don type of thing going on. You'd be surprised how fast people will open doors for us when he sends you a care package from Sergio's with a few croquetas, some empanadas, and a big old 10-gallon jug of café con leche, and all of a sudden all the no's turn into yeses. And I said this after, it was like a little joke of mine. I remember I used to tell you all the time, I was like, yo, he's like a croqueta Don, you know what I mean? He sends a little care package and it opens some doors, and I was like, yo, that's pretty dope. So he's kind of like,
and I'll tell you, listen, this is Miami. I guess the actual item changes depending where you are with the geography, right? Where you are in the country. But when we were young and we were making music, we got places that people never expected us to be, right? We didn't get the big deal and we didn't become famous, musicians or whatever. But we would go and get patelitos at Son 95, a couple once a week, twice a week. And they wouldn't let us in the building, and we didn't stop, and we kept going back and kept going back. And over time, somebody in the studio was like, who the hell keeps bringing us coffee and patelitos?
And they opened the door for us.
And they opened the door, and we got the interview. Then we became friends. Then we would hang out with Enrique and everybody over there, right? Shout out to Enrique Santos and the whole crew, Mikey Machete, all the rest of the crew. And then we had like the opening song for the morning show on what was it? The Enrique and Joe show.
El Vacilón de la Mañana.
El Vacilón de la Mañana.
Coño, Frankie, you're taking it back. You're showing our age right now.
Listen, I'm only 22. I was 3 when this happened. No, but the way we got in was with the patelitos. It's the way we got in. Because it's Miami.
You're saying that sometimes patelitos and croquetas can open doors.
Sometimes it's all it takes. And patelitos, they might be beignets if you're in New Orleans, right? It might be, I don't know, it could be anything anywhere. Or, wine and avocados or something, or grapes in California, right? Like,
I think it's culture.
It's
culture about every city has its different culture, culinary culture too.
Yeah.
So you embrace it. That's what I do. I embrace it. I run to it, and I make sure that we share it.
Yeah.
And
it's evident when we go to your restaurants. Is there any plans of opening a Sergio's in another state, or is there already a Sergio's in another state?
Yeah, so we're opening, scheduled next year to be in Hartford, Connecticut.
No.
So we'll be in Hartford, Connecticut.
Is there a lot of Cuban Latinos in Hartford?
Believe it or not, the number one place that people travel to for Connecticut in Hartford is Florida. So we're looking to open a fast casual inside the airport of Connecticut.
Of Connecticut.
Yeah, we'll also probably most likely be also in Minnesota. In
Minnesota.
As well in MSP.
I feel like the menu would work anywhere if it's just marketed correctly.
Yeah.
I think that it's although it's traditional Cuban food, it's got modern twist to it, and it's got something for everybody. I think it would work anywhere if you
Is there like
research.
How do you get there, right? Like how do you say, damn, you know what, Connecticut will work great. Minnesota. I think nobody would think about Minnesota. I've been to Minnesota, to Minneapolis a few times, and I didn't see any Cubans there.
Well, I think it's all about like relying on the relationships and partnerships that people come together, see a vision where it is, see the products that are selling. Like, for example, Connecticut was because they want the empanadas, the coffee, the experience, because the people that are flying from Florida can do it. And not everyone can come down to South Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Like people that are in West Palm or Boca might not always come down, but they want that product up there.
Right.
And it's also a really good portable food as well. So one thing that we have going for us is really good coffee and some great baked items, right? So pastelitos, empanadas hold really well when you're going on an airplane. So I think there's some benefits in different avenues that we can do. And we're already in, Key West, already in Orlando. So we've shown that our product can work throughout different demographics, different people traveling. And so we're excited about that growth.
Yeah, and I think in the airport, the St. Paul Minneapolis Airport, right? I forget the exact code or whatever. But when I went there, I'm looking for coffee, and there's a coffee brand, but it's definitely nothing close. I actually travel with my own Cuban coffee. We make I'm gonna post it again of us going to Japan. I was like, bro, I'm sure they have great coffee in Japan, but I need my colada in the morning, so I brought my cafetera. I brought my butero and everything, and then when we got there, all I did was buy the sugar.
And sometimes you can't think about the destination. You got to think about the pit stops.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Canadians come to Miami a lot, and they pit stop in Minneapolis to take their spot, and then the next plane goes from Minneapolis to Miami.
Yeah.
So it's not always about the destination. It's always that it's a final destination. Sometimes it's just about the pit stop and having the audience already wants it or used to it.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians come to our restaurants. Shout out to Canada, and so
shout out to my wife. She's Canadian.
Yeah.
And they
and Cuban.
Awesome, great mix. So then they would enjoy and appreciate it because they're already used to it too when they come down here.
What do you think is the hardest part about being a restaurateur? You've been in the game for a minute now. You've had your ups and downs. You've seen the highs. You've seen the lows. What's the hardest part of doing this?
I mean, there's a lot of hard, right, in our business. That's the truth. I mean, I think one is time, because it's a very long business. You come in, but you don't know when you leave.
Yeah.
Based off issues, I think that's one of the biggest, hardest issues is that balance of time, where people say, okay, I can come in, but I don't know when I'm coming back. And I think it creates a lot of strain on families. One thing we did at Sergio's was I don't let my managers work more than 5 days a week. I unless it's an exception, they want to, but I want them to have time with their family, because that impacts. I've seen it. I've seen the sacrifice, and I've seen people just their family falls apart. And for what? I think us as a newer generation, we want longevity. We want people to be happy.
Yeah.
Can't maybe pay them the most compared to a David Grubman restaurant that's doing great and has all these liquor sales, because we're not that. But what we can offer is, more balanced life, being able to know you can come in and out because we have a team set up in our corporate structure. We also do profit sharing too with our team. Every manager is in their corporate team. Any store profit shares with us. They see the P&L, they see the profits, so they don't have to leave. And I think running restaurants, people want to leave eventually to do their own thing or to move on. So I think having good people, but having a system set up for long-term success is hard. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and we've implemented that as I came in along the years, because I saw the gaps, and I had to look at it from the employee side and also from the owner side. And how do we reach a compromise that works for the longevity of the business?
Yeah,
I feel like you can have the best employees in the world, but without a system, it just doesn't work.
Of course.
Right? So I don't care how good your employees are. You got to have an efficient system that works for you. And I only know that from, working with you. I've seen your system, I've seen your system as well. If you don't have a system, you're at least a system that's very custom to you, because everybody's system might be different. What worked for you at Cafe 72 might be very different for you at Sergio's. But without that system, I don't care who your rock stars are, your food is not good.
Yeah, and especially with the way wages are right now, right? So I don't know, before the pandemic, $9, I think it was $8, $9 was the minimum wage. And I'm not saying, I'm definitely not trying to have the argument whether it should be higher or lower, but what I'm saying as a business owner, when it goes up every year, goes up $1 and change, right? a $15 minimum in Miami is definitely not enough for the employee, but man, it's almost like too much for the restaurant owner. You know what I mean? And I felt that real big when I had to pay the dishwasher $15. The guy who makes the burger, I gotta pay him $22. Like it was a big strain on me, and I had to really maneuver to be able to like make a couple dollars in my pocket. You know, when your staff's paycheck is crazy, it's really hard. So I think it just takes a lot of planning and a lot of systems and a lot of the rest of that to really be able to get there, be comfortable as a business, have your staff comfortable, and have life balance. Like the fact that you pulled that off is, I don't know, one of the most amazing things to me as a business owner and a restaurant owner. Like it's probably the hardest thing. So my hat's off to you for sure.
Bobby Flay was on, I forgot what channel this week, and they talked about that, about this whole thing. What's the hardest part? And he said, because they talked about the food being expensive, and he brought up, and he got criticized for this, but he brought up that he goes, hey, labor's high, and he goes, and so the food's high, food prices are high, but he says, and then that's probably not enough, which is crazy to say that because things are really expensive out there, right?
Right.
It is. So you have this counterbalance of how to do it. So it's almost like a Rubik's Cube. So I look at it as, okay, what works for your concept might not work for someone else. Like, I don't know what Bobby Flay's, costs are, but I'm sure he's using really high in quality. He has everything to spec. So my big thing in looking at our business was, how do I keep prices attractive for our locals, for our community? And how do I balance all these things that my employees need to do it? So everything has to be like almost incentive-based. When you have incentive-based programs, businesses stay. I'm a big component of like profit sharing. I'm a big component of people doing that because that model has been the most successful for us because you don't hide things, right? It's just there. It's just like most people say, oh, you did, $8 million or $7 million in sales for a particular store. And everyone's like, oh, they're killing it. But when you show the whole thing, they're like, oh my God, you're not killing it, right? And so then what happened?
It costs money to kill it, right?
But remember, the people that go to college, even that are educated, don't know how to run a business. So the best thing you can do is really show them like where the costs are, how to rec a P&L, and then look at it and say, oh my God, this is tough, right? And then when everyone's on the same boat, sharing together, whether it's a small percentage for you or however it is, or based on performances, people I think are more motivated to understand and rowing in the same direction. So however you figure it out for your model, it's there. I think what we've done is made sure that we can keep our prices attractive. Yeah, prices have gone up, but figure out ways and continue to experiment on how we can keep things attractive, pay our people more, 401ks, healthcare, profit sharing. I mean, these are things that if you told that to any independent restaurateur, they're going to say, how in the hell is that possible?
Yes.
But I look at every vertical channel and I don't fish in the same pond as everyone else. Right. I look at other oceans, and that's what I do. That's the only way I can continue to do what we do, so that way I can give those benefits, not to keep in my pocket. It's actually to say, like, I want to make your life better, but I also want to make my life better too. Right. Like I want all of us to spend time with our children if we can. So how do we do this, right? But everyone's got to buy into the system to make sure it happens.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. And I think we've talked about a lot about the restaurant and the professional part. What about Carlos?
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to talk about, I know that this meal, these fit meals came from the way you eat at home and stuff like that, and just being able to like offer a healthier, protein packed. But like, let's forget the diet part, right? When Carlos is like, okay, I'm breaking the cycle today. I'm breaking the fit meals. I'm breaking all of it. I'm going straight, ? To get my favorite thing. Where are you going to get your favorite meal that's not a fit meal? So we know the fit meal.
Got you. Yeah, like I'm pretty boring, but in that perspective, because we're
spoken like a true restaurateur.
But I think that like one places I'd like to go to is Hillstones. It's one of my top
Hillstone,
places.
Very consistent, good food.
I like the consistency. Just like the concept so well. There's a lot to learn there. And as a restaurateur, just looking at how they have a different operational system.
Right.
But that's one of my favorite places. I feel like even sushi. They're not. I don't know how they have sushi in Hillstones. Like they didn't have it for a long time. They implemented it probably like 15 years ago, 10 years ago in the one in Coral Gables, one of the top locations. But I'm like, man, how come I get the best sushi at Hillstones? And I order sushi from other places, and I'm kind of like,
from sushi places.
What's going on? Like, what's going on? How is Hillstone better in sushi? And it's consistency and it's the quality. And man, you know what? That's one of my pleasures. Like, hey, let's go to Hillstones, eat there.
Yeah.
Also, sushi is one of those foods that if you know what you're doing, and if you're good at numbers, and you're doing your P&Ls, and you really get that food cost where it needs to be, it's very precise because everything is, it's 4 ounces of this, 2 ounces of that, 1 ounce of this. It's super easy. I'm not saying it's easy. You have to do the work, but there's a clear path to profitability when it comes to making sushi. And I think that the systems at Hillstone are like top notch, obviously, right? I've never heard a complaint. Actually, we did on one of the last episodes, we were talking about Flanagan's and how they're just consistent. You know what I mean? Whether you like them or you don't, they're very consistent. And they're those guys that, when the hurricane comes, they stay open. Like they have that fisherman mentality and they're awesome.
Like us, we love Flanagan's. That's how it's like us. Us and Flanagan's are like local staples.
100%.
Hurricane comes. We have our barbecue truck out there.
Exactly.
We're feeding FP&L.
I've seen it.
In fact, I remember that one time there was that crazy hurricane that everyone got, the news freaked everyone out here.
That it didn't hit us and it just stayed right off the coast.
But everyone was driving out of here.
Or Irene. Yeah, I went to New Orleans. I went to New Orleans.
But the news really it was like a psycho war there. It's like
it went out of control.
That we were all like, we got to get out of here. And I remember talking to my mom, in fact, and I said, within 24 hours, and we're like, man, like, should we get out of here too? Like, we never left. But should we get out? And she goes, no, like, you got to be ready that next day in the morning.
Yeah, to feed everybody.
To start feeding. Yeah. And then we're like, we can't leave. We can't leave. So it hit me at one point, and I was like, yeah, okay, we'll just keep riding it out. Like
at that time, I had Boss Burger. Me and my partner in Boss Burger were like, bro, let's ride. So we jumped in the van. All of us, the whole family, we left. My sister stayed in the restaurant managing the spot. And she's calling me like, we're out of everything. I don't know. I'm making little sliders right now so that we can at least feed everybody because nothing was open.
And we prepare though. Like I prepare like for hurricanes. We have, like I said, a smoker. We'll rent hurricane's coming. Everyone's freaking out. And we're like, all right, so we need a refrigerated truck on gas. We need so much pork. So it's like becomes like a party.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? Like that's not typical. We're like, okay, we're gonna smoke this. We're gonna use all the gas stuff and fires, and we're gonna cook a bunch of food everywhere. And if this store goes down, then we'll do the sales for that store in this area. So, and we have our USDA plan as a backup. And so we're thinking a little different than everyone else.
The mentality of a Miami restaurateur during hurricane season.
100%, and like it's the same thing. Is that do or die mentality, right? Like I think it takes that because you're gonna go to all the business school you want. That's good to learn the business, and then when you get in the restaurant, you're like, oh, okay. So now you have to keep track of everything. It's so nuts. There's so many different ways to drop the bag, right? To drop the ball. In a restaurant, it just is. There's so many ways to mess it up, Yo,
I wanna flip it because earlier you were asking Carlos, what does he like to eat? But I want to just take that question a step further. You're on death row, right? They're pulling the plug on you tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. That's it. You get to order one last meal. I like to ask everybody this: what is your death row meal?
Wow, that's a tough question.
Last meal, I know. Everybody says the same thing. Everybody's reaction is the same. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, because
you got to order tonight from Penitentiary Uber.
Think of comfort food, man. That if you're dying, you think of comfort. At least like
comfort's different for everybody, though. Right?
I'm not gonna be eating like something sophisticated, for my last meal.
You can have anything you want, though.
I know, but unless
you can get that sushi from Hillstones.
I could get sushi from Hillstone. I could get a nice steak. It's true. Or I can get like, I don't know, like picadillo, arroz, red beans, maduros, and like go old school style where it's like
that boy's Cuban.
Leave out
That boy's Cuban.
leave with comfort. I don't know. That to me it's kind of like what. Maybe I changed at that time, but that's kind of what I'm favoring now. If I
It's not far off from like I think what we would right like.
Yeah.
I think of my
maybe a
abuela.
rabo encendido. If I went like crazy with a rabo in there too, you know.
Yeah.
A good rabo encendido would be.
It's a good one too. Those are little delicacy with, again, the rice, the beans, maduros. I mean,
I think about like when that question, I always think about like my grandma's cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
My grandma used to, my favorite meal with my grandma was like, believe it or not, when I was 10, 11 years old, was lengua. And she used to make it like carne con papa, like a lengua stew, like a tongue. And for those who don't know, tongue stew with harina. La harina, which is like polenta, yellow harina with black beans. So it was like, the harina just replaced the rice.
That's why you got so much hair on your body.
Maybe.
You started puberty at 9, bro.
I was eating lengua. But then we would eat the grits with a little bit of milk around the rim, azúcar, like just white sugar, and a little piece of cream cheese. And you get a little piece of cream cheese with the harina and the sugar. And it was lunch and dinner and dessert, you know?
God. That's some fat boy. Yeah. That's some big bag shit.
We used to go
there.
in.
I think it's kind of sad that I'm bringing stuff that I can eat every day as my last meal. But you know, at the end of the day, it's like
it's comfort food for us.
It's comfort food. Right?
I mean, I think that's why I asked the question, right? Because it shows who you are at your core. Like, what would the last thing be? So for me, for example,
I live it every day, man.
I would love a whole fried, like 2-pound, 3-pound hog snapper with some yellow rice, black beans, and a hopiña. Why? Because I don't know. It's my childhood going to the Keys with my uncles fishing. Mm-hmm. That's what it reminds me of. And I guess, you know, if you're going home, you want that going home meal.
That's right.
You know?
I agree.
So, you'd be surprised. I'm pretty sure some people would ask for some complicated stuff to try to prolong the process. You know,
maybe that. I mean, they like the flavor. You know, steak and lobster. Like I think that's probably like a super common answer for me. It's the roots, bro. It's back to abuelita's cooking. You know, I'm half Italian, so like Sunday gravy with some good ass meatballs and some spaghetti and like some, you know, like that kind of thing too. Like I would be probably like going crazy in my head. Like, damn, it's the last one. Do I do abuela or do I do nona? You know what I'm saying? Like, which one?
Wow. So what's next for Sergio's, man? I mean, you've grown it to a certain point. We just went to your 50th anniversary. We've seen the past. We grew up with you. Mm-hmm. We grew up simultaneously with you. What's next?
What can my kids expect?
Yeah.
Well, we grew up with Miami too, right? Miami grew and we've kind of grown with it. So one of the answers to that is however Miami grows, we want to grow with it and make sure that we continue to honor traditions of our Cuban roots, but also embrace the future to make sure that we're relevant. I think one of the hardest things is the last 50 years is unheard of in the restaurant industry. It's very difficult, particularly with rent and everything else being so expensive, right?
Crazy, yeah.
The landlord can kick you out every 10 years or 5 years, anytime. I think to say that you're relevant in 50 years is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's the most impossible thing to say is that the best is yet to come. And I think I'm a hope leader in that way. And I think that is true for us as well. I think, you know, we will continue to evolve to make sure that we can say better quality. How do we make sure it's, you know, the experience is better, that we don't lose our roots, but that we continue to diversify into different models that continue to make an impact. And when people come here, they say, how are these guys doing it? You know, how are these guys providing this value to us? And like, we're eating real food, right? A palomilla, you know, rice, beans, this is not, nothing wrong with McDonald's. I like McDonald's, but it's not that, right? It's you're eating protein.
It's still real food.
You're eating grandmother style food,
right? That
doesn't go out of style.
Yep. And
if we can do it at an affordable price, you know, or at least a decent price, I think that's a game changer. You know, with a good environment, good experience, something you can trust. I think that's the future for us, right? Continue open restaurants, continue other lines. I think by next year, following year, we'll probably be in retail as well. So that's one of our goals.
Is there a world where like there could possibly be like a like a Lahama sandwich on the menu or something like that? Is there a world that exists with those possibilities?
You never know, man. Like, think about it. You never know.
Kind of strong over like Carlos online right now. What's the answer, Carlos?
Never say never.
Yeah, I think it's great. Man, I think Miami's changing, bro. Really, really quickly, right? Like quicker than maybe I'm just more of an adult now, right? And now my eyes are open to the changes. Maybe it was always growing this quickly, right? But I don't think so. I think in the last X amount of years, right? Like 4, 5, 6, 10 years, it's making like a major growth, like exponential, like bam, 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 every day. And it's going faster and faster as it goes, right? Like snowball effect. Do you think that's a good thing for Miami? Do you think it's bad for locals?
I think if it's too fast, it is bad for locals. I mean, I'm always adamant. We need to protect the locals. That's what made us. That's what.
Yeah.
I mean, the grandfather or the father or the mother of that person invested their time here to make sure that it was good for us. I mean, I think we still got to embrace the future because changes will happen.
100%.
But we can't go too fast that our locals or our restaurants or our community that we started doesn't have a chance, right? And that's where a lot of times it's landlords, right? It's a big thing.
I mean, that's kind of in line though with the way you do things anyways. Tradition, family, like it's taking care of our own, right? Like,
agreed.
How many restaurants have closed, guys, that
thousands a day
that are here also that were here 10, 15 years ago that are no longer here.
Yeah, some classic staples.
Yeah,
right.
have closed recently for sure.
Yeah.
So that's a big issue, right? Not all the time was it because they didn't adapt. They just didn't make the right moves to do it. That's where I always, at night before I fall asleep, I always say, God, give me the wisdom to make the right decisions for you and put your name in glorification. And I tell it to my kids and I say, give him the wisdom, ask for wisdom. The wisdom is there. Ask for wisdom to make the right decision, because sometimes you can make all the right decisions, but someone made a decision for you.
At some point there
that you have to create an alliance with that went against you. And so you have to be able to have the wisdom to say, okay, if he's going this way, how am I going to react to that? And a lot of times, we're in the fire, so you don't get to see it, but that's what you got to ask for. And that's my number one ask, is to be able to see where we're going and then have the vision to hit it. And that's where consistency comes in. That's where systems comes in. That's where our weekly meetings have, all my managers, we have to-do lists. They accomplish it. We have people following up everyone's to-do list. If you don't accomplish your to-do list, guess what's happened? You're getting a phone call from our corporate team to find out why it's not happening. There's a lot of accountability for results. And, while I'm a small company, we look at our company like a public company privately, where we look at every quarter on how we're doing, but with a heart, right? And sometimes we're not going to get to our goals. It happens, but we'll just keep adapting and growing. Sure. As long as you're able to grow and adapt, then that's all we can ask, right? Is keep doing it.
Which kind of brings me pretty much to like our last question here before we close out. You're speaking of growing. You're speaking of adapting. We've spoken a lot about family, about tradition. You're a generational restaurant. You're in charge now. You've been in charge for a little bit. But even you, my friend, are getting old. Is the plan to eventually pass it on to the next generation, your kids? I know that you have little ones. I don't know if you have any older ones than that, but I don't know if there's been any talks about that. Is that in the plans? Or is that just hope talk?
No, I'm writing a book actually on this, like how the secret recipes of how to pass on your legacy to your business. I'm learning as much as everyone else doing it. Not everyone's going to have the same talent or skill sets.
Yeah, drive.
Right.
So I think the important thing for me as we figure out who wants to jump in to the business.
As they get older and they show more interest.
Which we don't know who, right? I have kids. My brother, I have a twin brother. He has kids too. The question is...
So there's two of you.
There's two of you, yeah. But he's not really involved in the restaurant side, but he does the insurance side. But if anyone wants to jump into the business for the future, yeah, we got to, I'm lucky I kind of grew up in the business, seeing it, breathing it. I'm trying to bring them in to just see how it is work. Funny story, I had my son work at the business, and they worked their shift on delivery, hostess, and then they wanted to get paid. And I go, perfect, absolutely, you get paid. And so they did their shift, and they came out after the shift, and I got cash to make it better, because I know people these days, they don't see the cash, right? It just goes right to the bank. But I go, okay, great, we're gonna go sit at the restaurant, the table. So we sit down, I go, what do you guys want to eat? And they're like, oh, and so one of my older son wants churrasco. My other one picked chicken fingers. So I gave him the money in the front, and I said, let's leave the money here until after dinner. So after lunch, we had a late lunch, and the server picked their food, they ate up, and they said, okay. They looked at me like I'm the owner. They're like, do you want the bill? I go, absolutely. I go, in fact, what we're going to do is everyone, we're going to have 3 bills, one for each one. So they brought it in, and they brought the bill, and each one had it. And my son with the chicken fingers paid his, my other son paid his, and I paid mine. And then my older son goes, wait a minute. He made more money. He made more money than I did. And I said, no. You all got paid the same, but we have choices to make. If you want a Range Rover and he wants a Honda, there's different cost. Pick your cost of what it was. So that way they know that you have decisions to make with the money you have, right?
Right.
Because, and I said, now look around and how hard it was for you to make that money, and how everyone here has to figure out how to eat. Right. And survive.
And you're blowing it on a churrasco.
And you're blowing on a churrasco, right?
You could have had the chicken fingers.
Correct. Or you could have split a meal, right? You could have said, hey, let's split a chicken, right? And do it. So I let them have the opportunity to learn.
Of course.
And for me to teach it that way. And, at first it was kind of like, it's not fair. And then he realized after I told him, you want a car? Nice car? It's a nice car. Churrasco's a nice car. Yeah. I go, chicken fingers is more kid friendly.
It's a little Honda.
It's a Honda, right? So nothing wrong with Hondas, but like it's reliable, it's there.
Yes.
But you have a decision to make. And the reason why I tell you that is every person who comes into the business to run the business, no matter who they are, should work from the bottom up. So Chick-fil-A does it. Should see it. Should understand the struggle of your employees. Should understand the struggle of the consumer, right? And should then grow up and say, do I want to do this? My goal as an entrepreneur is provide different vertical channels of sales, wholesale, retail, marketing, law, have all these different business lines that for me to pass it on to my next generation, that whatever their skill or talent is,
there's something to pick up.
That there's something to pick up.
Right.
Because if I don't do that, there's no guarantee at all, not even close to a guarantee. I mean, you're talking about a very slim line that I'm not trying to do. I'm trying to create the best opportunity that someone wants to jump in and say, no, I love it because I love marketing and I want to do the marketing for all these channels. Okay, great. This is what we can do. That's going to be my legacy. My legacy is to provide that to our family, and that they say, great, thank God Carlos thought about this. And I give it up to him to say, thank you for giving me the wisdom to think this way. I'm no longer a restaurant. I'm a food company.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the vision that I had. And that's the vision I saw.
That's awesome.
And that's the vision that I want to accomplish. And it's not easy, but hopefully it will be down the line.
Yeah, like I've had my son in every business that I've had in the last, I don't know, since 2015. Every business I've had, I always put my son so he can learn and see what he likes and everything. And watch this, I'm going to do something right now, you'll see. He came in, he will cook. When I had the food trucks, the La Jama food truck, he was there doing dishes. And now he wants to be a CPA. So he said it was tremendo arroz con mango. And speaking of arroz con mango, if you guys haven't seen yet, we got this merch right here. Hold on, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get up. Where's it? Hold on, it's this way? Okay, yeah, there we go. Right, there we go. Look at that. That's the new merch. The Yuca merch, the Jama TV merch, the arroz con mango. We got the Mofongo shirt on over here.
Mofongo, baby. For all my plátano lovers.
Go on lahamatv.com.
And speaking of merch, we also got some Sergio's merch right here.
Yep.
Pa' que tú veas.
Can we buy these online, Carlos?
Well, we're going to be doing these online, the Cuban Roots. And we have a colada one upside down that's coming out like this too as well. We're playing with different merch always at our restaurants so people can rep. We have the little Sergio's small little tag in the back, but at least it's about culture, right? So we're like just like you guys are doing right there, mofongo, jaroko mango, having fun with it, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing too as well.
And look, the color red is not illegal, okay? I just want y'all to know the color red is not illegal. It's okay to wear the color red, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So this was awesome. I'm super glad you came by. We actually wanted you to be the first guest ever. We thought it'd be fitting for you to be one of our first guests. It just kind of didn't work out that way. I know you were busy, but I'm glad you came now. And 100%. Brother, thank you for coming, bro. And thank you for bringing this healthy food. And I don't know, you kind of like ruined my little daydream, but in a good way, because coño, I was kind of expecting some croquetas, but instead I had some aguacate huevo.
Listen, what I ate during the day is horrible. So this was the perfect thing to bring for me because I ate trash all day. So
I remember we're opening up in Pinecrest too, so we'll see you guys for Pinecrest. Getting
we will be there in Pinecrest for show.
Hell yeah, for the grand opening. We'll be there the next morning, and we'll be there at least twice a week after that, okay?
Don't forget also, you can go on YouTube and you can look up Croqueta Nation.
That's right.
The short documentary about the world's longest croqueta. It's super amazing. We did it with Only in Date, and it features a bunch of people. Executive produced by Emilio Stefan and also Carlos Gazitua, and directed by me. And Frankie's in the movie, so just make sure you look up.
I'm not a director. I was just eating the croqueta.
He's in the movie. He's with the longest croqueta. He's like this.
No,
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Even I think we have Marcelo in the movie.
Marcelo's there.
That was fun. That was super fun.
That was fun time.
What a great day.
All right, so we want to thank you guys for watching. It's your boy SoFla.
It's your boy Chef Frankie.
And we got Carlos Gazitua of Sergio's here.
That's right.
And you're watching. Check it out. You got to do it with us. 1, 2, 3. La Hama!
Let's go.